Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. There was no content yesterday because nothing happened, literally nothing happened. It's like the football world took a day off and players went off onto international duty and the only thing we heard about was Enzo Fernandez's hair colour. That was it, so I wasn't going to come on and do a video about that, but there was a bit of news that came out last night which has transpired into today, and that's why you're getting a double upload today. You're getting two. This is the first of two, so keep your eyes peeled for later on tonight where I will be uploading a Chelsea video, but to start off with, we're going to go a little bit more neutral and we're going to dive into the latest around Antonio Conte at Tottenham and what has kicked off there. What a surprise, eh? Like I'm shocked. We'll get into that shortly. Before we do, don't forget two things. Firstly, social media links in the description. Twitter and Instagram are there. Make sure you're following me on those, and as well as my second channel, link in the description, as new content will be being pumped right into there very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for the new uploads that are going to be coming on the second channel, which is obviously more generic and not just football, sports related. It's quite generic. So be there if you're interested, and I will see you very, very soon. Let's get cracking. Antonio Conte, Tottenham Hotspur. It's all fallen apart, and what a surprise. Now, I did a video talking about it a few days ago where after the outburst in his press conference where he came out and started firing shots like he was in the middle of an old school, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 ambush, yeah? Going absolutely in on everything and everyone. And it was no surprise. I said, people are going to be shocked at how crazy he actually went and how angry he got. But is anyone actually surprised? Ironically, yes, quite a lot of people were surprised. And I explained why you shouldn't be. At least us Chelsea fans are not surprised. We saw this coming. We told you from day one, yeah? We told you from day one that if certain circumstances and requirements were not met, that it was going to only end in one way. Which is exactly what is transpiring right now. And you know what? This is actually even worse than how it ended between him and Chelsea. Because at least between him and Chelsea, he got, some silverware. That's a start. He got few signings, at least in his first season. He was very happy. And then it all went, left. At Spurs, it's just not worked, and we tried to tell people, but Spurs didn't listen. Spurs thought they knew everything. Anyway, let's get cracking. So the latest with Antonio Conte, as he flew off on a Ryanair flight. Just to make that clear, he flew off on a Ryanair flight. I'm assuming, I don't know, he's going back to Italy or something. I don't know, but he was on a Ryanair flight, so clearly cost of living is affecting Antonio Conte as well. Or Tottenham couldn't be bothered to actually arrange a private jet for him because it's not ended very well. But here's the latest from the Telegraph, which broke last night. Matt Law came out and saying, exclusive, Tottenham expected to agree Antonio Conte departure this week. This link should now work, as he previously posted a link that didn't work. But Tottenham to part ways with Antonio Conte. Following Conte's outburst after the draw at Southampton, Daniel Levy appears ready to move on from the Italian. Not a surprise. And it's all looking like it's set in stone. Apparently Ryan Mason is taking charge of training this week, and up until they appoint someone. Now, who is that someone going to be? Right, we're going to come to that very, very shortly. But with Antonio Conte, look, as I've said, am I surprised? No. It was always going to end this way. We Chelsea fans tried to tell people, look, with Antonio Conte, it can work. It can work, but it's got to be ultra specific. And you literally have to, as an owner or as a chairman or as a board, you literally have to go to Antonio Conte and be like, look, what do you want? We will get it for you. That's it. And then if you actually promise and you stick to your promises, then he will deliver for you. But to stick to promises of that magnitude isn't easy. And this is where I do want to say, right, for Chelsea and even for Tottenham now, it's not easy to just give Conte what he wants. But what I'm saying is, you already know this is what you have to do if you do hire him and you want him to succeed. You're basically almost selling your soul away to give him whatever he wants. And I say that, loosely. What do I mean by that? It's not easy to go, for example, he turns around and says, look, I want that player, I want that player, I want that player, I want that player. Get me those guys, right? It's not easy to pull that off. Let's be honest, yeah? You could possibly pull out, say if he asked for 4 players, you could maybe get 2, you could even get 3, but to get all 4 is not easy. But this is what's expected if you hire the guy in the first place. Especially, and you know what, this is where I'm going to cut Chelsea some slack, because I don't think Chelsea really understood who they were getting when they got Antonio Conte. And even then, he won the Premier League in his first season. And even then, we got him what he wanted in his first season. And even then, after it kicked off, we won the FA Cup. Yeah? But it was only after we started to find out, what is he actually about? How does he function? We really didn't get a grasp of that before he came to the Premier League. Tottenham should have learned from our example. Tottenham should have learned. It was easy, as clear as day, right? As to what you need to get in order for him to succeed. Tottenham were never going to be that club, man. I remember saying it from day one. The moment that he joined Tottenham and I saw Chelsea fans, there were Chelsea fans on this platform saying, I'm scared. I'm scared of Antonio Conte at Tottenham. How have we let this happen? Conte's going to win things at Tottenham now. Tottenham are actually going to get silverware. This is going to be a disaster. It's going to be catastrophic. And I was sitting there and I remembered this just like it was yesterday, going, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Why? Because it's Tottenham, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean that in terms of who's running that club and how is that club functioning. Daniel Levy, come on, do me a favour. Do me a favour. The guy is all about the money, and not in a good way. He's about trying to, to be honest, it's only recently I've actually seen him start to get the checkbook out, but even then he's done it wrong, and Tottenham fans will tell you that they've spent wrong. They've had money this time. For the first time in their lives, they're actually seeing cash, right? But it's going to players like Porro. Do you know what I mean? Or Davinson Sanchez, or I don't know. When they got Sergio Reguilon, and a lot of us thought that would be a good idea, and it turned out not. Tottenham have not spent correctly. Simple as that. And I remember going, I'm not worried. I'm not worried of Conte at Spurs. Is Conte a top manager? Yes. But are Tottenham going to do what he needs? No, they're not. They're just not. It's because it's Spurs and it's Daniel Levy. No need to be scared. And look what's happened. Have Tottenham won anything? Let me check. Nope. Still waiting. That is how it is. And when you look at the culture of Tottenham, we're going to come to that very, very shortly. But with Antonio Conte going, and now it's looking like it's officially done, all I have to say is Antonio Conte has been given what he wants. I'm just saying that now. Yeah. Some people are going to be thinking, it's a good idea. Yeah, we're sacking Conte. Fantastic. All right, he's got to go. It's exactly what he was looking for. Outburst after Southampton, it was for this. He done that to get sacked. Now he's getting sacked. He's going to get paid. And then after that, don't be surprised if Tottenham are going to have to go and find themselves some very good lawyers. Therefore, they can be protected in some sort of court case that could be coming their way if Antonio Conte is feeling like he's woken up on the wrong side of the bed. Yeah, because he's capable. Let me just tell you that he is capable. So Tottenham, good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck. You've given him exactly what he wants and you've set the red carpet for him to go and proceed with whatever action he wants to take. That's all I'm going to say. So we'll wait and see how that transpires. But Tottenham and the club and the culture, I wanted to talk about this because there are now links with who the next manager might be. And it's no surprise that the players apparently have gotten involved. Now, I'm going to show you very, very quickly who Tottenham are looking at. This guy. Members of the Tottenham squad have been in contact with former manager Mauricio Pochettino about a potential return to the club. It is understood that Pochettino would be keen on the move. So, Poch, apparently, back to Spurs. I have to say, to be honest, it's probably the best Spurs can get. At this point, we've got to understand one thing. I think people are looking at Spurs to try and hire someone that's actually going to come in and win trophies. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Why? Because the culture at the club does not allow it to. The culture at the club does not enable Tottenham to win silverware. It just does not. Simple as that. And the one opportunity that Spurs actually had to win something, they got to a final and they decided to sack the best manager that you'd want for a final, Jose Mourinho. Sack him before a final to let Ryan Mason take charge against none other than Pep and Manchester City. I mean, you got to be on some certain substances to think that's a good idea, right? And even then, you're going to have to get some substances that we've not even heard of probably to think that's a good idea. Because I know there are probably addicts out there that definitely know that's not a good idea. And Tottenham has gone ahead and done it. So when you look at the culture, the players, I mean, this report from Sky Sports of apparently some players asking Poch, to come back, trying to get Tottenham to get Poch. As I've said, is it the best thing that Tottenham can get right now? Well, yeah, I guess, but not with a squad that actually has the ability or the hunger or the desire to go out and win. That actually want to push themselves to the next level. They wouldn't have done what they did with Antonio Conte, as far as I'm concerned, or Mourinho. They would have really shown up. And it's almost like there are players that are trying to find the easy way. Oh, let's go back to what kind of worked before. It was nice, I guess, with Poch. We didn't win anything, but it was nice. So let's just go and be nice. Yeah, it's almost like they're looking for the easy way of life, the easy life, the nice laid back, chilled life. So there's that. Player power exists, right? And player power, I think, is a thing across football that many people want to get rid of, but it's not as easy as that. It's not as easy as saying just get rid of player power. I remember I was someone that used to say, oh, player power needs to stop. It needs to stop, but it's not as easy as that. Why? Because there's so much money on the table nowadays that it's much easier to get rid of a manager than to get rid of an entire squad. It just is. You're not going to get rid of 25 players, or 22 players, or 20 players, unless you're willing to sacrifice 2 seasons, minimum. And right now, we're in a climate where at the top clubs, you just can't afford it. You would rather get rid of a manager, get someone in, and have some sort of instant build-up immediately, right? To let you, at least to know that you are still competing on a level that is financially capable, where you can survive, where you can look and go, yeah, you know what, we're stable enough, we can take this and we can try and improve on it. You get another manager to bring in that can get something out of the group of players that you have compared to the manager that you had who couldn't. That's just the modern game as far as I'm concerned. Is it right? No. But can you change it? As I've said, unless you're willing to sacrifice 2 or 3 seasons, you have to. If you do it, if you're happy to sacrifice 2 or 3 seasons, then be my guest. If you can afford to do that, then be my guest. Absolutely, go for it. And at that point, yes, you do install a culture at the club of being able to back a manager and no one can talk up to that manager. You either go by what he says or you're out the door. And that is, the correct way of functioning. But it's not as easy as that, especially at Tottenham, where players have got a hold of the culture and there's just no silverware and there is no winning and it doesn't exist, so it's almost like they want the easy way. We'll see what happens if they do get Poch back, although right now I do see that as probably the only option for them. Now, to even talk about players and culture, Antonio Conte, here's the thing that I do want to let a lot of Spurs fans know, right? Because I know there's going to be some Spurs fans that go, no, but look, yeah, we're talking about Conte, yeah, but he was rubbish. Yeah, Conte had signings. Yeah, he had players that were bought, and he flopped. Yeah, he's not as good as people thought. It didn't work. Overall he was crap. Right. I do want to entertain both sides of the coin here because I want to show you something first. Here it is. Check this out. Tottenham's spending under their last 3 managers, right? With Mourinho, they spent £131 million on 10 players. With Nuno, they spent £57 million on 5 players. And with Antonio Conte, ironically, they spent £192 million on 14 players. Now, you'd look at that at face value and think, yeah, Conte's been backed. Because people see that money, they see 14 players, and they go, what more do you want the club to do? Yeah? And it goes back to the point that I made earlier. It's not easy. It's not easy to go and get exactly what you want consistently without fail. As I've said, this is what you need for Conte to succeed though. So what I do want to entertain is the £192 million spent on 14 players. All those 14 players, forget the money, because the money is the money, it's got to be done, The 14 players, right, are all 14 players that were happily approved by Antonio Conte, where Conte could look and go, yeah, I'll take him, I want him, bring him. All 14. If it's a yes, then absolutely everything you're seeing at Tottenham is on Antonio Conte. I will say that. It's on him. Because if the club have got him what he wants, or have got him players, even if they couldn't get him a player, but they've gone in with another alternative and they've gone, look, we can get him. Are you going to be happy with him? And he goes, yeah, absolutely, bring me this player. Then absolutely Tottenham have done everything they can for the manager, right? I struggle to believe that all 14 players Conte would look at and go, yeah, I'll take him. I don't think so. And that's where I think it's already failed. This is where I was preparing for this moment. And I'd already said, and many Chelsea fans said the same, because we've been through it. We know. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Tottenham do not have the facilities to back a manager like Conte. They don't. They just don't. You need to have unlimited resources to back a manager like Conte and get him what he wants any day of the week, because that's the only way he succeeds. And that's where I think maybe some hostilities come in, and maybe Conte's been forced to work with some players he just does not approve of, and he's like, oh crap, here we go again. And then he starts to down tools and he starts to explode. And on top of that, when the culture is not one of a winning nature, when it's not one of a ruthless nature, when it's not one of a group of players that are willing to go through brick and concrete walls, then Conte hasn't even got the bare minimum to work with in order to get his way across and to succeed. It was never going to work. It was never going to work. And here we are. So that is a question I want to leave to Spurs fans. Let me know in the comments, if you are Spurs fan, do you reckon all 14 players that were bought by, let's say, Antonio Conte or Spurs during Conte's time were all approved by Antonio Conte? Or players that he was happy to work with? Let me know. Because if there's even one player that he's not happy with, it's done. It's end of story. It's not going to work. So there's that. That's the latest. Now, talking about an alternative replacement, this is one for the Chelsea fans. You guys are probably not going to like this, much like I didn't like this. But then I realised what was going on. I was like, nah. Not right. There's not much chance of this happening. Check this out. Simon Phillips and Dan McCarthy on their page put Thomas Tuchel is one of Tottenham's favourite potential candidates on their wish list should they sack Antonio Conte. Now, listen, Tottenham, you got to do it properly. Yeah? If you're trying to copy us, you got to do it right. So you went for Jose, didn't work. You went for Conte, didn't work. You shouldn't go straight to TT. You got to try and get Sarri first. That's the guy you want to try and get. Go and get him from Lazio. And then when that doesn't work, you can try and get Frank Lampard. That's never going to happen. So you can skip to Thomas Tuchel if you want. Give us some time, and then after that, you can go for Graham Potter if you want as well. So, that's the way to do it. You got to keep it in chronological order, guys. If you're trying to be us, at least copy us correctly, yeah? Honestly. And it's funny, with the managers that they've had so far that have worked for us, we had 10 trophies and they've got none. Unbelievable. Anyway, last piece of news for you guys before we end the first video of the day is this. This had me in stitches, I'm not going to lie. Official Roy Hodson, 75 years old, is the new manager of Crystal Palace until the end of the season. Can I just say this? Yeah, can I just say this? Palace sacked Vieira to get this guy. I mean, come on, man. Let the man retire in peace. Can we let Roy Hodson please just stay at home, put his feet up, and enjoy what's left of life? Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like he has been obligated to accept this job because he is Palace through and through. He's a Palace boy. He's a Palace lad. He's a Palace man. He's been a Palace manager. He is, Palace all over, right? And I feel like in a time of needs for his club, he's just gone, yeah, you know what? I'll come up out of retirement to staying up until the end of the season just to, get Palace to stay up because I love Palace. I genuinely think, look, this was not the way to go. This was not the way to go, man. Especially from the same people that got rid of him. This is what's crazy. They got rid of him. They got Vieira to only sack Vieira after what I have to say, a very bad winless run. But they get rid of Vieira to go and get Roy Hodson again up until the end of the season to keep them up. When in reality, Patrick Vieira would have kept them up. Let's be honest. There are worse teams in the league. I don't think Palace will get relegated, if I'm being completely real. There's the Leeds and the Everton debate to get first across rather than Palace. So I guess you never know. But yeah, to get Roy Hodson in, come on, guys, man. I hope Roy Hodson makes it to the end of the season. Bloody hell. I wish him the best. I like Roy Hodson a lot. I really do. I think as a manager, he's been a good manager. He's had a great career. I wasn't a fan of him when he was an England manager, to be honest, although I got it. What's funny is I actually approved of him more than I do of Southgate, which is actually quite insane when you look at the results. But Roy Hodson, look, let the man retire, man. Let him enjoy his life. Anyway, that's the latest, and that's my thoughts on today's news. Elsewhere, aside from Chelsea news will be up later on, so my Chelsea video will be uploaded tonight. Make sure you're here for that, for video number 2 of the day. So much appreciated for all of you watching. Thank you all very much. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash like button if you have enjoyed this, and I will see all of you later on. Have a good one, people. In a bit. Take care, and peace.